What's going on, YouTube, and welcome into episode 10 of the Lake Show Flow. I'm Gio with my co-host Joe.
What's up, y'all?
So tonight, the Lakers get a good win over the Grizzlies, 115-105, and we're going to go over some key performers. So for the Lakers, you had LeBron James with 28 points, 8 assists, 9 rebounds. Anthony Davis, 35 points, 9 rebounds. And Kyle Kuzma off the bench with 20 points, 10 rebounds. And Montrezl Harrell with 14 points, 7 rebounds. An honorable mention, we had Marc Gasol. He scored 2 threes, so we just want to throw him in here. 6 points, only 2 rebounds, though, which is kind of surprising because he's like 7 foot tall.
And for the Grizzlies, they had Ja with 22 points and 10 assists. You had Grayson Allen, a.k.a. my cousin, with 23
Junior
points.
up in there.
23 points and 3 rebounds. And then you had Valanciunas with 22 points and 8 rebounds and 5 assists. And then Dylan Brooks with 12 points and 2 assists.
Yeah, so to start this game out, it was pretty sloppy. It looked like we're going to have to, I told Joe already, like we're going to have to come back. We might have to go to overtime again because they pretty much started out hot. It was an 11-0 run. We had sloppy play, bad turnovers. There was a silver lining, though. We noticed when we called a timeout, we saw Jared Dudley had his actual uniform on.
They teased us.
That was our one little silver lining in the whole quarter.
Freaking Jared, dude. Just play him. Just play him one play.
I mean, he hasn't got playing time. At least he's dressing out now because before he was wearing his little swaggy outfits all the time.
He was looking swaggy, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, so he wasn't playing, but we got to see him like on the bench cheering. He had some he got pretty hyped on a few plays there. So
he's like the ultimate like hype man. Like if I was a basketball player and I want someone on my bench, I want Jared Dudley there. You know,
it's just chemistry. That's where he brought him back. That's why he's back.
Pretty much.
But yeah, it was a bad start. They went up 27-7 early at one point. But AD, who was coming back from his injury, he was coming out aggressive early, so that was cool to see. He was aggressive, but he was missing at first. I think he was like 0 for 5.
Yeah, he started off 0 for 5. But the good news with AD though, it didn't look like the Achilles was an issue tonight. Like it looked like he had speed, he had lift. So that was good to see out of him, you know. But like you said, he started off kind of slow, but he ended up with 3 baskets and a free throw in that quarter, you know. And with them, Valanciunas, I don't think Valanciunas guarding him. I think he was guarding Marc Gasol.
Yeah, he was balling early though. Valanciunas, he came out hot. He had like 11 points.
Well, yeah,
right away.
Valanciunas had 3 baskets and 2 free throws, so he was doing good. But defensively, he had Marc Gasol on him. So
yeah, Mark. I mean, we've talked about it like every episode. Like he's not the best paint protector anymore. He doesn't really, he just doesn't really get blocks. He pretty much anyone could score on him at this point. So.
Well, the thing, too, that screwed us over, too, that I was watching tonight, that I told you to watch, there's a few times that Mark, when they did a pick and roll with Ja and Valanciunas, like, when Mark comes up, and let's say, like, Mark gets picked and it gets stuck, like, no one helps the helper, right? And when it comes to basketball, I mean, you got to communicate. I feel like sometimes our team doesn't talk enough either, so that's where people are getting, like, lost. But if Mark comes up, either LeBron or AD needs to drop down to the paint a little bit. So if the center gets slipped through, they need to step in, and then someone needs to rotate to their guys. So I think that's why the paint points are so bad too. Is like once they get past like the perimeter or on a pick and roll, no one's helping. No one's coming in to help the helper. You know.
Yeah, and it was pretty much that's how it was like the first 2 quarters too. Like we started seeing better rotations later in the game, but to start off, it was pretty tough to watch. So we pretty much end the first only scoring 16 points. It was 31-16. And then opening the second, we pretty much going back to our turnovers. It seemed like they were making like everything, though. Like they were getting some crazy, like, who was that guy? Kyle Anderson? I think it was Kyle Anderson.
The slow-mo? Or which one are you talking about?
No, Kyle Anderson, where he's just like turning around and just throws the ball in.
They call him slow-mo.
Why you call him slow-mo?
That's what they call him.
They call him slow-mo?
They call him slow-mo because he does everything slow.
Did they say that?
Yeah, that's what they call him.
I thought you made up your own nickname.
Anderson, a.k.a. Slow-Mo.
Okay, so Slow-Mo. I'll just call him that because I forgot his name. But he was making some crazy shots, like circus shots. He had LeBron in one time. I think he got fouled and he just threw it in. And then, So it was just bad to start off. But I mean, Trez came in with some energy. I like that. The bench pretty much got us on a 9-2 run. So that was cool. But the offensive boards, they just kept getting those. Like Memphis, they're a young team. And I feel like they pretty much took us by surprise almost because we're already a bad rebounding team sometimes anyways until Kuz comes in, but they pretty much were just dominating that part of the game.
They had 2 that quarter, but turnovers too. Like they talked about it in the game that we're the bottom 3 when it comes to turnovers. So you can't like turn over the ball that much and expect to win games. Like that's kind of why these games have been so close, is because not only are we turning the ball over, people are scoring on turnovers, you know?
Yeah.
So we need to clean that up. I mean, that's got to just do with more of a chemistry thing. Maybe like the practicing where we're not practicing, you know, with each other, where people need to, you know, learn to play with each other and stuff like that. And I feel like people just need to not be so sloppy. You know, I think that's where it goes to, where we get lackluster and we get sloppy and we kind of get like comfortable in a sense, because we're like, oh, we're going to beat these guys.
Yeah.
You know, but it is like with Memphis, they're not even at full strength. Like we talked about, they didn't have Triple J or Brandon Clark tonight. So they didn't have two. They're pretty much two of their forwards tonight. So, and we barely came out with the win. You know, because I mean, yes, we went on that run in the second half, which we'll talk about, but the first quarter was ugly. You know.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I mean, we started turning it around at the end of the second quarter. Like AD was starting to finally knock down some points. Like I think he started off, like we said, 0 for 5, and then he made like 6 in a row. So that helped us a lot. And then we went on a 7-0 run. We had like 3 7-0 runs in this game, but the first one was in a minute. So that was nice to see. And like I said, just good to see AD coming back from that injury. He looked sharp. He looked like he was getting his mid-range, you know, turnarounds and his floaters and stuff. But
on the other side, though, what was keeping them in this game was they were hitting threes.
Yeah.
Like at one point, we weren't making anything. I think their stats, they have hit like 5 or 6, something like that. We hit 1. Yeah. So it's so weird though, because I don't feel like we have bad 3-point shooters. Like I feel like KCP, obviously he's at a career high for 3-point shooting. Kuz is at a career high for 3-point shooting. LeBron's at a career high for 3-point shooting. Yeah. Like all these guys have a career high for 3-point shooting, but it seems like sometimes we just cannot hit a 3 to save our life. You know, so
yeah, and we start getting kind of in a rhythm towards like the end of games, and that's just a bad like habit to have in a way too, because it seems like we kind of get spoiled with our talent that we know we can come back, so we just kind of take advantage of that and just let them kind of come out hot, and then we just wait, and then we make our run late. But
well, with this thing too, though, I honestly want to talk about too, though, because we touched on it before about LeBron, and we talked about it tonight. But I think LeBron needs to get more boards. Like, I feel like LeBron, yes, he'll get his triple doubles, but if you watch the games, LeBron gets kind of easy boards. Those are all like easy boards. He's not going up and grabbing it over anybody. He's not fighting a guy in the paint for a rebound. Every now and then he will, but he gets easy boards. And there's times if you watch the games, he's right there and he won't jump. And it's not just him. I don't want to put the blame on him because AD does it. They all do it. But I feel like if he were to attack the boards, because when it comes to being a leader, you just got to lead by example. You got to show your guys, hey, if I'm doing this, then you know, other guys will fall in line, you know? So with him tonight, like I said, he needs to get more boards, and even AD. At one point in the first half, I think AD had like 3 rebounds. Both those guys need to attack the rebounds, because obviously we're getting killed every night when it comes to offensive rebounds or just rebounds in general. Like every night, if you look at the stats, we're pretty much tied in rebounds with people. And that should not be a thing, because other than Valanciunas, they don't even have a big man.
Yeah, like we said that they were missing, like you said, Jaren Jackson and Brandon Clark. So there's no reason why, you know, like you said, like we shouldn't have to depend on Kuz coming in or Trez coming in to get those boards. And I mean, with LeBron too, I mean, yeah, he does need to hustle more and lead by example. But I think at this point, I'm hoping that we can depend on those rebounds for the playoffs, you know, just because I think at this point he's like, I don't know, like he's 36 years old. It's the regular season. Maybe he's just kind of like taking a little easy.
But the thing is, though, by taking it easy, these games are lasting longer. Yeah. These comebacks are harder. Like, you could take it easy for a quarter or two, but you're going to play 2 really hard quarters, or you're going to play 2 overtimes. Yeah. So in the long run, it doesn't even matter. Like, if you just play hard for 4 quarters, maybe even 3 quarters, because if you blow someone out and you get to sit the whole 4th quarter, in the long run, that's easier to do than to play 2 overtimes or to have to come back from 20 points. Like, it's hard to do that. Like, that's not easy. You know, we kind of make it look easy. But like I said, it's not just LeBron. AD needs to also crash the rebounds. But we just can't rely on Kuz and Trez and all these guys to do it anymore. I feel like we're already at the point in the season where people just need to, like, do what they're supposed to do. Because this is against Memphis. And eventually we're going to face good teams. Like, we just need to create some type of identity. Because honestly, offense is good to have. But it's just in any sports. Like, people talk about it all the time. Like, the dirty work, that's what wins championships. When it comes to football, like defense, people that have like really crazy defenses win championships. In basketball, people that do all the little things like rebounds, assists, don't turn over the ball, all these things that we do not do good right now.
Yeah.
Like, because we're the bottom at what turnovers, we don't get rebounds, and then assists, it seems like every night, the last few nights, the other team's beating us.
Yeah.
So we need to get better at that in general, you know?
The good thing is we're still number one in defense, so.
Which is, someone's lying in these stats.
Which, I mean,
like, or the NBA sucks this year. Something's happening.
Like, I was telling you, it's like maybe the other teams are so bad that we're still able to do that because our paint protection is not there. I think even though, like we said the last episode, we are number one in defense, but paint protection, I think we're like bottom of the league. But yeah, so pretty much the story of the half, they made 5 more threes than us. We had a lot of bad turnovers, not enough assists. And then they had 20 points off turnovers, and they said that was already their average, like, on the year. Like, that's how much they get a game. They had it in the first half, so
yeah,
that was a bad sign. But then, so going into the third quarter, we had Schroeder. He was struggling this game. He had, like, 0 points at this point with 4 fouls. So that was tough to see because I feel like when AD and LeBron, you know, if they can't get something, then we have Schroeder to be, like, the third option. But he wasn't really doing anything in that quarter. But we did go on another 7-0 run in 30 seconds. So that was
I think that was
crazy.
open the quarter too, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was cool to see that because at the end of that second, it's like we carried the energy over. So that was cool to see because we needed that. We're pretty much letting them do whatever they wanted for a while. So that was nice to see. We extended that to a 13-2 run, and then Schroeder finally got a score using his speed, which we love to see.
His one basket, you know?
Yeah, like from the whole game.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was nice to see him cut. Like when he gets in the lane, I feel like no one can really catch him sometimes.
Yeah.
So that was nice to see.
But in this quarter too, though, AD like came alive. Like AD had like 5 baskets and 2 free throws, and it was like AD, like it looked like everything was smooth tonight. It didn't look like he forced anything. Mm-hmm. His shot looked good, you know, and it was against Valanciunas. Like, once again, though, we talk about this all the time. I mean, in my eyes, Valanciunas is not a top center. It seems like he does this against top centers, but we got Denver next, I think.
Yeah, so we're gonna see.
So we've talked about it. We're gonna see, is this just him looking really good against bad centers?
Yeah, especially if Jaren Jackson was out there, he would have
been a whole different.
Yeah, he would have had more of a fight too.
Yeah.
And I don't think Valanciunas wasn't even on him every time he got into the paint.
Valanciunas guarded Mark pretty much. If Mark was in, I think he would guard Trez if Trez was in.
Yeah, so once AD goes against Jokic, that's going to be another test. And then we got the Nets. And I mean, they don't really have a paint protector, but I want to see him step up in that game too because these big games coming up, we're going to see a lot from our team because the Nuggets game, I think we kind of got away with that one. I think we kind of came back at the end. But we can't keep making it a habit. Like we said, against these good teams, they're not going to let us just come back. They're not going to give us that luxury. So so we're going to see a lot with that. But Trez came out with some more hustle in this. But I think, is this where he took his fall? I think he took a fall.
No, Trez took the fall in the fourth quarter.
Oh, it was in the fourth, okay.
But the bench, like Trez and Kuz, when they come in, like the game just changes every time. Like Kuz, I mean, if you've heard our podcast, you would know, like, I freaking love Kuz. Like, Kuz slowly is, like, emerging as that third guy on this team, right? Even if he's off the bench, he's doing so many little things and scoring at the same time that sooner or later you're going to have to start getting more minutes because I guarantee you, if you look at the minutes, he probably was in the bottom in minutes tonight, you know? I don't know if it's because he plays so hard that Vogel's just like, I don't want to burn you out because you're going 100. Because when he's out there, dude, he's going 110% every time.
Yeah.
I don't see Kuz ever taking breaks. So maybe that's why his minutes are so low. They're just like.
Well, the good thing actually for this game is he played 32 minutes, which is third from the top. It was LeBron and AD and then him. Okay. So, but that was pretty much because Vogel actually made the adjustment of not playing Keith. So we like to see that.
And Trez went out when Trez got in the fourth. So it's kind of like the rotation got smaller, you know?
But hopefully this is like the turning point for him as a player because we thought, you know, when THT was having energy and then Caruso and Kuz, we thought that was the turning point for them to get minutes. So hopefully.
Yeah. Well, because Wesley at this point, I don't even think we need to keep him in there. He's doing okay. He's hustling and everything, but I just think THT offers so much more.
Yeah.
And not only this, I feel like we're at a point where we could start growing these young guys because we've talked about it before. Wesley's not the future.
Yeah.
We don't need to play Wesley. I want to play THT, Alex, Trez, and Kuz. Those guys are all young. They could potentially start one day for us. you know.
And
so I want to see them play more minutes and learn the NBA, you know.
And honestly, it's nice that we have Trez and Kuz off the bench because that's like crazy to have. But I would also put at this point, I think with Dennis having these low games, I would just start Caruso right now. And then have Dennis come off the bench because he was already like a 6 man of the year candidate. So
he'll score way more. I guarantee you, because like we've talked about the starters, dude. I think Dennis is doesn't want to step on LeBron toes or AD toes.
Yeah, so if he's not ready for the moment to start, then I think Caruso...
Because Caruso doesn't care about scoring. Caruso could literally have 5 points and be okay with it. Yeah. But he'll add so much more defensively, rebounds, hustle plays. So I think Alex could step in, but... we've never seen Alex start either. So we don't even know what that would do to him.
But I mean, at this point, without being even halfway through the year, we might as well. Like, you can try it, you know. But I mean, we know Vogel, he sticks to his guns a lot, so we probably won't see that.
Yeah, you know, and then in this quarter too, Marc Gasol his 2 3s, so
those were the
honorable mention.
The honorable mention of Marc.
It could have been 3 for 3 probably because he missed one, but you know,
it was looking nice. It was like the same spot twice, I think, too.
Yeah, and Marc is playing harder and harder every game, I think. Yeah. I think because that trade deadline is slowly getting closer and closer and closer because it's like March 1st.
He's actually running like down the court. Like
sometimes he's the first guy down the court, and I'm just like, how'd you get there so fast?
Like I feel bad for him too because sometimes he's like he thinks the play's going one way, and then we throw a turnover, and he's like, oh my god,
it's so funny when they show him on the cameras because he looks so confused. Like
from tip off, I think he said he looked like, are we playing?
He looked like he didn't know he was there. He was like, oh dang,
am I Memphis again? Like.
He's like, my Lakers jersey? My whole team?
I think this was, I don't know, man. This was probably pretty confusing for him to take.
He looked decent, you know, but I mean, on the other side too, though, because, you know, talk a little bit about Memphis, you know, at this point, Allen had hit like 3 threes, so he was on fire, aka Junior. And then Ja had kind of a slow night, but he had came off missing like 9 games like this. I mean, it was his first game back, but he still ended up with 20. But
he still does what he does. Like he pretty much just he does what we'd like from the shooter. Like just to
he's just bigger than shooter though, a little bit bigger, you know. But Ja Morant is like,
might be the hair though.
I think he's a little bit bigger if you watch him play. Even Dennis looked undersized. But I think what helped us start to pull away in this is Valanciunas cooled down.
Yeah,
like,
we started.
Our defense got like really good.
Yeah, but see, then I wrote like we can't keep making the comeback thing like a habit. Like. And that's pretty much what we talked about earlier. Like, it's nice to see that we can do that and come back because we end up taking the lead 87-82 going into the fourth, but it's just not a good habit, especially like this is a 10-10 team we're doing. Like, you know, and we can't depend on that against the top seeds. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in the fourth quarter, it was pretty much a cruise. Like, Kuz was doing everything.
That was Kuz's quarter.
Yeah, he was owning it, man. Like, he was just getting the rebounds. I think he made sure he got his 10 rebounds. Like,
It was crazy. Like, he even had, like, a crazy tip for a basket, which it's all effort. Like, even the broadcasters talked about it. Like, Kuz is just, like, pure effort. And I think, like, before, because they were trying to make Kuz be, like, that third guy before. And I think Kuz could be a third guy, but I think it was just too much pressure. And it was almost like, it's hard to be a third guy on this team when you have LeBron and AD.
Yeah.
Because if... you almost need an efficient third guy because your third guy is not going to get a lot of shots. You need someone that's going to be able to knock down all his shots and not be a volume shooter, and that's kind of what Kuz is. Kuz needs to be able to shoot 10 to 11 times, you know?
Yeah.
And off the bench, that's he has that freedom to do that, you know, because AD and LeBron are out there usually with him. Usually it's one or the other. It's not both of them, you know? So I think that's where Kuz is flourishing this year. And one thing I've seen, too, that I wrote down earlier about KCP. I think KCP, even though I don't want it to happen, and we've talked about this, I think at this point for this team, KCP needs to turn into a 3D guy. Like, because obviously we're not going to run anything for KC. He's not going to get all these volume shots that he needs to get in rhythm. So he just needs to really focus on playing extremely good defense.
Yeah, and
hitting 2 threes or 3 threes a game. Like,
yeah, but he just been so like out of sync with the threes. That's why I'm like.
He's still shooting 44% career high.
That's pretty crazy.
So he's obviously hitting threes.
Yeah, because I don't know if I would start THT yet because he still has his, you know, rough around the edges type of things. But like, Yeah, I mean, with KCP though, we said before, like he's pretty dynamic though. Like he can drive.
But he's not gonna be that. Like on this team, like he just, like you said, he needs to be a 3-and-D guy. He basically needs to be Danny Green of last year, just someone that's gonna hit threes and play really good defense.
But at the same time, we have to set those up though. Like I feel like we'll do like some last second, like
it's not happening though. So either that needs to happen, or he's slowly becoming useless, which is sad because he's not bad. He's a good player.
Maybe that's just a tough role with our team though. The shooting guard, because we had Danny Green last year, had like a bad year. He didn't do nothing. Wesley kind of struggles, and then we have KCP. So maybe it's just not a role.
I think it's just a 3-and-D role. Like I said, the shooting guard position isn't highlighted in this offense, you know.
So maybe like you're saying though, he just needs to embrace it. Like
just embrace it. Almost to have like a Kuz type of thing. Like
because Kuz, within not even a year's time, we had a short off season. He went from not being able to do much if he's not shooting and making his shots to now he just does everything.
Exactly. So, like that's what I think KCP needs to become for the starting lineup. Like be the guy that gets the rebounds, fights for rebounds, be the guy that gets steals, some blocks.
And if he can't do that, then maybe we do give THT, like at least try it. Like we said, we're gonna try the Caruso thing. Maybe try the
maybe
THT.
in some of these games where we play like lower teams. You know, because obviously in this next stretch we don't really have any easy teams, but teams where we play like a lot of them know Detroit takes us to like overtime all the time.
I was gonna say at this point every team's a tough team, but I mean it would be nice to just play with the lineup a little bit, you know, because we don't know, you know, you don't know unless you throw Caruso in the starting lineup. You won't know unless you throw THT, because look what happened with Wesley. I mean, he did have a good 2 games, and this game was a little lower. But
I think Wesley could go back to the bench and just chill for a bit.
Yeah, THT is, like we said after he had that good game, it was like THT's gonna get punished for no reason now, and that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, because THT played the garbage minutes at the end. I don't know if he even played the entire game, right? I think it was just the garbage minutes.
He came in because he only played 6 minutes overall. Yeah. So dang, I don't even know. I think he came in. He almost had that crazy poster.
Oh yeah, he almost did.
I don't know if Vogel's like, you can't throw that down. Get off the court.
Vogel's like, you know what? No.
He's just like, Wesley can't even get up like that. Like what's?
He's
like, what's that about?
Wesley, come over here, man. Show this young buck how you do it.
He's like, I can't get up there like that, coach.
No, dude. So,
I mean, we close out the game good. Like we said, Kuz was like the story of that last stretch. Like he was really doing his thing, and I mean that's pretty much, we get a good win. It wasn't a pretty win necessarily. Like the ending was nice.
We had to come back, you know. Yeah. But that second quarter was defense. If we could pit 4 quarters together like that, would be like really, really good. But we have not put it together. We either start really hot and finish off really bad, or we start off bad and finish really good. So we just need to work on putting it all together. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I feel like stop the ISO play too. I think that's like hurting the team right now, obviously, because if you look at the last few games, the assists are way down. Yeah,
we're letting teams like beat us in assists every game.
You know, so I think get the ball movement going again, get other guys involved, and hopefully the rest of LeBron and AD, you know, because they actually played a lot of minutes for AD barely coming off an injury, and LeBron playing like 40-plus minutes the last 3 nights. I feel like towards the end there, like LeBron stayed in for a bit. Like we're already
I was gonna say, like, it was good to see him on the bench earlier than the last couple of games, because he had to like close out the last 2, go to overtime, and then AD, I mean, coming off the injury, he only played 1 less minute, or actually played 1 more minute than LeBron,
which is crazy. So it's like it's an Achilles injury. You would think you would want. Or not injury, but an Achilles issue, you know, because technically he's not injured technically, but you would think you would want to rest him more. So I don't know, maybe
this was a good start, I guess, to like close it out and then get them on the bench a little earlier, but they still almost played.
Well, I would have rested them tonight though, because think about it, next game we have the Nuggets. So
I was saying
you're not gonna rest them there.
Yeah, I was saying we should have just rested them till the Nets game, but I mean, it is what it is. But so the Lakers get a win, and we do have the Nuggets next. And we'll talk about that one. So we'll see you guys on the next video. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and follow us on Twitter at LakeShow Flow. Still need to get the Instagram going. Yeah. Shout out to Fran right here doing this during this episode. And we'll see you guys next time.
And be safe, Laker Nation.